But let's talk about Suella Braverman, though, because that is the main point of today's show. Suella Braverman, the Home Secretary, will be addressing a group of people in the United States, a think tank on the right side of politics, you might say, in all senses of the word, where she's going to warn that 780 million refugees could actually qualify for asylum in this country under the current rules with the Refugee UN Convention, all done in 1951, sorted out, as we heard earlier, by countries after the Second World War, a time when hate was not only something that people talked about, but something that actually became an incredibly vicious and dangerous force with the Nazis. People were fleeing countries to get away from them, to avoid being murdered by them. And that was why being a refugee was a very important thing at that time. But what it's now become is a sort of license to make money. Like many things in this world, if you are a human trafficker, you're likely to make more money by getting somebody across the English Channel than you are by smuggling drugs. Smuggling people is now big business, and we know that. But we also know that every country in Europe has got a problem. We also know that it started with Europe because, of course, it was Angela Merkel, who can forget, the former Chancellor of Germany, who opened the doors to Europe when the Syrian war was going on. And she basically said that anybody coming from Syria, fleeing a war, could come to Europe. It was one of the most naive decisions ever made, one of the most naive announcements ever put through international politics, because, of course, the people who are slightly less than honourable and slightly less than honest, who came into Europe, who were not from Syria, simply said, we're from Syria. And so suddenly there was 1 million people crossing the German border. Suddenly now we're looking at millions more, because they're coming in their hundreds of thousands every single month and every single week, if you like, from parts of Africa, from North Africa, from Sub-Saharan Africa. They're coming from Eastern Europe. They're coming in some places from Asia. They're coming from India, from Pakistan. They're coming here because they can, because they know that if they get here, they won't have to worry about not being allowed to stay, because they will be allowed to stay. It's happening in America. Millions of people flooding across the border from Mexico. It's not sustainable, it's not right, and it shouldn't be happening. It must be stopped. It's as simple as that. Suella Braverman's right on this, and I know you would agree with it.